Number 2, carefully held the rope in her mouth. Then she slowly lowered her body and lifted her hips, moving very carefully on the ice. When she heard the sound of ice cracking, she became scared and immediately lay flat on the ground. At that moment, the person who had fallen into the icy river was shaking badly. If she was not rescued soon, her life would be in danger. Seeing this, Maya felt very sad. Without any hesitation, she picked up the rope from the ground. Even though it was extremely dangerous, she ignored her own safety and kept moving forward. Soon, she reached the person who had fallen into the water. Maya carefully placed the rope around the person's neck. After making sure the person put their arms inside the rope loop, she slowly moved back toward her owner. Under the owner's command, Maya led the other dogs. Together, they worked hard and successfully pulled the person out of the icy water. Later, Jerry threw away equipment worth millions and placed the injured doctor, who had hit his head badly, into the snow sled. At that moment, a powerful snowstorm was about to arrive. If they did not leave immediately, everyone would die there. Because the snowstorm greatly reduced visibility, Jerry could only rely on the snow sled to find direction. He found an extension cable and adjusted it. After that, Maya was placed at the very front as the leader, because only she could guide everyone back to the camp. With one command from Maya, the dog team ran desperately toward the camp, fighting against the freezing wind. When the snowstorm fully arrived, Jerry was already exhausted. This made Maya run even harder, because she knew that only by reaching the camp quickly could she pull her owner back from the edge of death. After running non-stop, they finally reached the camp before nightfall. Jerry looked at Maya with deep emotion and felt extremely grateful for her life-saving effort. However, after a quick medical check, it was clear that the doctor needed immediate hospital treatment. Jerry's fingers were also badly frostbitten and required urgent medical care. At the same time, the snowstorm was getting stronger, so they had to evacuate immediately. But because the plane was too small, only humans could be taken. 8 dogs had to be left behind at the camp. The youngest dog, Max, broke free from his collar and tried to get on the plane with them. Jerry then made a decision that he would later regret. He asked his teammates to put Max's collar back on and then tightened the collars of every dog once again. Jerry promised Maya that he would come back for them. When the plane took off, the dogs realized they had been abandoned. They ran wildly toward the plane, barking non-stop. As the plane disappeared into the distance, only Maya stood firmly in place, waiting for her owner to return and take them away. Little did they know, this wait would last for 180 days. After Jerry received medical treatment, 3 days had already passed. When he learned that the dogs had not been rescued, he immediately went to his colleagues to ask about the situation. He was told that the weather was getting worse, and the earliest possible rescue would be next spring. Jerry could not believe it. He rushed into the command center and begged the commander to send a plane to rescue the dogs. No matter how hard Jerry tried, they refused to take the risk. They even told him to give up on the dogs, saying that in 2 days the snowstorm would become even stronger, and the entire area would be completely covered in ice and snow. The dogs would not survive. At that time, the 8 dogs were still locked at the camp. Maya continued to wait firmly for her owner to return. One day, strong winds blew away a flag marker from the camp. The strong dog Buck broke free from his chain and chased after the flying marker. The other dogs became restless and wanted to go after it too. Maya also broke free and ran out. When Buck successfully brought the marker back, everyone felt relieved and surrounded him happily, cheering for him. The youngest dog, Max, was very anxious because he was too weak to help. Only the oldest dog, Old Jack, remained calm. He was a sled dog who had served for 10 years. He understood why his owner had tied him up, so he chose to keep waiting, but he had overestimated human morality. Even so, the dogs who broke free did not run away. They all stayed at the camp, waiting for their owner to return. They waited for 15 days, hungry and freezing, never leaving the camp, because they were afraid their owner would come back and not find them. One day, a small bird suddenly flew into the camp. Max was the first to notice it, and he immediately became energetic and alert. He quickly woke up the other companions, afraid that the food in front of them might escape. Then he used all his strength to pull off his collar and ran in the direction where the bird had flown. The other dogs also rushed behind him, competing with each other. Only Old Jack stayed still and did not move at all. Maya wanted to help him by biting off his chain, but Jack firmly refused. After that, Maya patiently comforted Jack and tried to encourage him to stay strong, but Jack knew that his time was limited. He did not want to become a burden on the team. Even if his breathing stopped, he decided to stay there and wait for his master to lead the team and keep them alive. Maya had no choice but to say goodbye to Jack and leave him behind. At the same time, Max, who was chasing the bird, saw a shocking scene. A group of birds was gathered nearby. As if they were having a meeting, Max became excited and barked loudly at them, scaring all the birds away. Luckily, they did not fly very far and soon stopped. All of this was seen by Maya, who arrived shortly after. Maya immediately gathered everyone and quickly made a hunting plan. She started assigning tasks to each dog and then gave instructions to Max. Because Max was too young and inexperienced, she told him to stay where he was and learn. When the other dogs reached their positions and hid, Maya alone moved around behind the birds. She lowered her body and slowly crawled forward, quietly getting closer to them. When the distance was right, she gave the signal and rushed forward. The birds panicked and tried to escape, but the hidden dogs quickly surrounded them. Every dog returned with food, and not a single one came back empty-mouthed. Max watched everything with wide eyes and clapped his paws in excitement. Even though they were extremely hungry, none of the dogs chose to eat alone. They placed all the food in front of Maya and waited for the leader to divide it. Max had not worked, so he did not receive any food. He could only ask Dewey to share a little, but the food was so limited that Dewey himself did not have enough. Luckily, Whitey did not eat much and was willing to share his portion. As time passed, they had survived on their own in Antarctica for 50 days. When they saw the beautiful aurora for the first time, Max became very excited. Led by him, the other dogs also began chasing the lights in the sky. While everyone was having fun, Dewey accidentally slipped and fell. Maya immediately sensed something was wrong and rushed over with the dogs. As expected, Dewey was lying motionless at the bottom of the slope. Seeing Dewey badly injured broke their hearts. With no other option, his brother Dulu lay on top of him to keep him warm, hoping to help Dewey survive the freezing winter night. The other companions stayed quietly around them. That night, the storm was extremely violent. When morning came, they found themselves buried under thick snow. Only Maya stayed beside Dewey the entire time. Sadly, Dewey never woke up again. Maya was deeply heartbroken, but she could only leave silently. As the leader, she had to keep the others alive. Max, however, refused to leave for a long time. His heart was filled with regret. He believed that if he had not chased the aurora, Dewey would not have been hurt. He hoped for a miracle, but no miracle came. Even though he was deeply sad, he had no choice but to leave. The blizzard soon blocked their vision, and the other companions disappeared. No matter how much Max called out, there was no response. Lost and alone, Max returned to the camp by himself and sat quietly on the snow, hoping his master would return soon. But his hope was shattered. When they had survived independently in Antarctica for 130 days, a starving Maya could only lick the thin snow to gain energy. Fortunately, under her leadership, they found an abandoned observation station with some emergency food inside. After eating their fill, everyone lay down lazily on the ground. Only Maya stood there, silently looking into the distance. She was deeply worried about Max's safety and feared losing the young companion. At the same time, the cold and hungry Max was searching for food near the camp. This was the 150th day of surviving alone in the harsh environment. Luckily, after searching for a long time, Max discovered a stranded whale. He rushed forward in excitement without thinking twice. Just as he was about to eat, a seal suddenly appeared. Max wanted to fight the seal, but seeing its huge body, he didn't dare attack. He had to back off to a corner, keeping himself safe. Watching the seal enjoy the food alone made Max frustrated, but he couldn't do much because the seal was much stronger. Just as he didn't know what to do, a familiar figure appeared. Maya and the other dogs had been searching for him. Seeing them again after being separated gave Max a huge boost of confidence. After carefully observing, Max quickly thought of a plan. He looked at Maya, and with a silent understanding between them, he started moving. He quietly approached the seal from the side. Then he teased the seal and even tore off a big piece of meat to provoke it. As soon as the seal's attention was on him, Max quickly ran away. The seal got furious and dived into the icy river, chasing Max at full speed. At that moment, Maya gave a command, and the other dogs rushed nearby. They ate well, filling their stomachs. The seal chased for a long time, then realized it had been tricked. It quickly turned back to the hole and grabbed Maya's leg to drag her. The other dogs got scared and retreated, but Max wasn't afraid at all. He jumped on the seal's back and bit it hard. Seeing this, Maya immediately ordered the team to attack. With everyone attacking together, the seal screamed in pain and eventually fled. The dog team successfully got the food. Unfortunately, Maya was badly hurt and lying on the ground, unable to stand. But as the leader, she had to keep the team going. Even limping, she led everyone to eat and gain strength. In such a harsh environment, only a full stomach could give the energy to survive. Over time, Maya's injury worsened, and the pain became unbearable. She eventually lay on the ground completely still. Seeing this, the other dogs lay down around her to stay close. Maya was the soul of the team. If she fell, the others would stop moving, and slowly they would all die together. But this was not the ending Maya wanted. She hoped one of the dogs could take over her mission and lead the team to survive while waiting for their owner. Max understood Maya's wish and encouraged everyone not to give up. From that day, he started leading the team in hunting. Every time they caught food, he first brought it to Maya, then stepped back to let it be distributed. Maya felt very touched. She knew her time was short, so limping and with all her strength, she returned the food to Max. Max was confused, not understanding at all. But the other dogs immediately understood. They placed all the food they caught in front of Max and lined up to wait for distribution. After 170 days of training, Max had grown from a young, naive pup into a mature, responsible leader. Everyone supported Maya's decision. Max realized the weight of his responsibility and personally placed food in front of Maya. He didn't want the former leader to give up. When the others took their food, Max stayed with Maya, encouraging her to stay strong and survive while waiting for their owner. Meanwhile, Jerry, the dog's owner, was constantly thinking of them. Since being separated, he had been trying to find a way back to Blue Base, but kept getting disappointed. People always refused him for different reasons. Finally, he went to the doctor, whose life had been saved by the 8 dogs at Blue Base. Jerry wanted to use the doctor's connections to get to Blue Base and find the dogs, but the doctor's attitude shocked him. The doctor believed dogs were just tools, and people shouldn't risk their lives to save them. Jerry, however, had spent 10 years with the dogs. They were like family to him, so he decided to go to Blue Base alone. But no sailor was willing to take the risk. Just when he felt hopeless, an old colleague stepped forward, along with his best friend. It turned out that all of this had been planned by the doctor, because he had accidentally seen something his son wrote. The child, with his innocent heart, told everyone that his saviors were the 8 sled dogs. The doctor was very moved, and his feelings for the dogs instantly awakened. He used his research fund to rent an icebreaker ship to help Jerry's team go to the Blue Base and rescue the abandoned sled dogs. When Jerry returned to the base, he saw old Jack buried in the snow and felt very guilty. He thought the other dogs had not escaped, but when Jerry pulled the iron chain, the whole chain lifted into the air, and he immediately realized the other dogs still had hope to live. At that moment, Max heard the noise at the base and immediately ran over with his companions. Seeing their master, the dogs were extremely happy and rushed fearlessly towards him. After 180 days apart, they finally met their master. After counting all the dogs, Jerry looked with hope at the distant hill. Unfortunately, Maya and Dewey did not appear. Jerry was ready to leave with the others, but Max refused to get into the vehicle no matter what. He even made some strange movements. Seeing that Jerry did not react, Max quickly turned and ran. Jerry immediately chased him, but what he saw shocked him. Injured Maya was lying on the ground, completely still. Max crouched beside Maya and shed tears of regret. But when he reached out to touch her, Maya unexpectedly woke up. They are all humans' most loyal friends. If you cannot give them warmth, do not casually take them as pets. And if you do keep them, never let them feel lonely.